Good morning. Good morning. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. So with that, I've got our youth and family coming up. And today, Miss Jessica, who normally works with our middle school kids, is going to talk about what she's doing with the kids today.
Hi. Good morning. I'm Jessica with Youth and Families. I assistant teach with Miss Susie and with Mr. Bill, Miss Barb, and Devin. Hi, everybody. Come on up. Hi. This morning, I have a sensory box full of beans and toys. And come down here and pick out a toy. I'm a little short. No, I'm definitely short. Coming in at 5'3" on a good day. Depending on the tides and the moon. And so, we're going to talk about play. I still love to play. I like to go on the beach. I love to go, I write like poetry sometimes if I have a feeling. And I like to listen to my music and dance around the house still. Some old school 90s hip hop. So much of our spiritual direction is learned or taught through play, whether it's self-guided or cooperative play, and sometimes through challenges that arise during creative and competitive play with others. Feelings and emotions flow through us at a steady stream. Maybe they don't. And we need some guidance at times to regulate during play. That's why today we're introducing a sensory box. This will be over in the house that we're at, and the kids are going to have an opportunity to play with it today. In our sensory box, we have some like pinto beans, and which have their own interesting feel in their hands and through their fingers, along with all kinds of various toys with various surfaces for tactile feedback, for comfort and different kind of stimulation. Play allows children and adults free and spontaneous expression of feelings and being allowed to express one's feelings, and this is essential for emotional growth. Often children will become attached to particular objects we hold dear, very dear. I don't know about you, but I still have my favorite yellow bear from growing up that a neighbor gave me. Her name's Penny. She's still around, and some of you probably still have a favorite particular object maybe you grew up with. Play is one of the earliest skills of safety that's learned, and it is sometimes benefited through structured play. So that happens like in preschool, at school, you have structured play. That's what recess is. You go out there, you see people out there and playing together, and there's an adult that's often circulating. Then sometimes you're in play therapy. That's structured play. Play has many expressions, which is like music, art, theater, coloring. Here at Youth and Families, we welcome children and adults to play to their heart's desire. We know Susie loves to play. And remember, as adults, just 20 to 40 minutes of creative play per day helps regulate your own emotional state. So embrace your playful side. It's good for you. So yeah, this is what we're doing down here. Down here in our little beans, we've got some sea animals, some like little stretchy feely things. There's a Rubik's Cube in there. And obviously it's fun. It's very fun. So here in Ventura, if you don't know what to do, I just start at the beach and put your feet in the sand. Awesome. Okay, you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
We're going to honor our youth and family with our song.
I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica and Youth and Family. Maybe we can convince youth and family to bring the sensory tray back over during the social hour so the adults can play with it.
Yeah.
Staying anchored in that beautiful space that Linda invoked. I invite everyone to stay in this space, stay in this centered space, listening to the words of our sacred reading.
Good morning. From the Daily Guides in Science of Mind magazine, August 15th, written by Catherine So. The biological fact that our very cells recognize their inherent oneness is proof that despite any arguments or our prejudices and our biases may take to the contrary, the very nature of the life is some essential joining force about this. The poet and philosopher Mark Nepo wrote, "If two cells find a common pulse beneath everything, how much more can full hearts feel when all excuses fall away?" What a grand thought. Our inherent oneness is what makes us social animals. Unless we are extremely introverted, we love to talk to strangers, meet new people, make those brief, unexpected connections with others in a smile or a flash of eyes as we communicate a shared understanding about some amusing experience on the street. We are meant to be interdependent and in companionship with others. We are meant to be in relationships so we can learn how to love more fully and completely. If you have ever been in deep meditation with a group, participated in a drumming circle, sung in a closely orchestrated choir, or let yourself go trance dancing with other joyful people, you know the wordless, awesome feeling of being in unison with many hearts. In glorious solitude, we feel our oneness with God. In company with the many, we feel our oneness with each other. Underlying every moment is the pulse of life itself, a rhythmic beat that divinely orchestrates the tides, the planets, the seasons, and our breathing. Truly one, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you.
There's no combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I can sing, but I can try for you. Our dreams, they're made out of real things. Shoebox of photographs, sepia tone loving. Love is the answer, at least, for most of the questions in my heart. Like, why are we here? Where did we go? And how come it's so hard? It's not always easy, and sometimes life can be deceiving. I'll tell you one thing, it's always better when we're together. It's always better when we're together. Yeah, we'll look at the stars when we're together. Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together. And all these moments just might find their way into my dreams tonight. And I know that they'll be gone when the morning light sings. It brings new things for tomorrow night, you see. They'll be gone too, the many things I have to do. But if all these dreams might find their way into my day-to-day scene, I'll be under the impression that somewhere in between, with only two, just me and you. So many things we got to do, and places we got to be. We sit beneath the mango tree. Well, it's always better when we're together. We're somewhere in between together. Well, it's always better when we're together. always better when we're together. I believe in memories, they look so pretty when I see in the and then I wake up, you look so pretty, sleeping next to me, but there's not enough time. There is no song I could sing, and there is no combination of words I could say, but I will tell you one thing, we're better together.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That song is deceptively hard, right? There's those like real fast parts in there. It's like, ba, 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 ba. I don't know. I was trying to sing along and it's like, I can't do it. So for those of you who don't know, I am not mic'd. I am mic'd now? Am I mic'd now? Okay. I'm pretty loud, so it's okay. Everybody at home is like, what's happening? But for those of you who don't know, I'm Reverend Jennifer Gadberry Hadris. I'm the assistant minister here. So if you're expecting Reverend Bonnie Rose, I'm sorry. No. she's enjoying her week off. She did a week off, and I'm sure we're going to hear all about it next Sunday. So come back next Sunday. So what are we talking about today? The talk title today is Me to We to Everything in Between. Our featured book this month is More Together Than Alone by Mark Nepo. And I was starting to think about this talk, and this talk, his whole book is Discovering the Power and Spirit of Community in Our Lives and in the World. And what does it mean to be in community? So you see, I got it out, it's a little moth written. My Letterman's jacket, it's back to school time. I live near a local high school here in Ventura, and it is, summer is great for my traffic flow in my neighborhood. I really enjoy summer, and school started back up, and it's like, oh, bless their little hearts, right? You know, like, and it's not the kids, it's the parents who are dropping them off, and it just turns into, it's a snarl at the first part of school, everybody getting back into it. And we're doing the back to school Casa Pacifica collection. And so there's that excitement, right? That newness, the new school year in the air. I know when I was a kid, I used to love it, right? I'm an only child, and I grew up in a rural community out past Barstow. It's way out there, way out in the desert. Very, very small community. My high school had under 400 students. And as an only child, and my parents were expensive, like I was alone all summer. And I didn't hate it. I was actually pretty happy by myself. I could read what I wanted and I could do what I wanted. But I was always excited when school was going to start. It's that hopefulness, right, of school. I got my new outfit. I got my new shoes. I got a new haircut. I'm going to see people I haven't seen, and it's super exciting. And this is going to be a new year, and this is going to be my year. I don't know if anybody had that. I was kind of nerdy when I was in high school. Surprise! And it was a really small high school, but this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year I have the right haircut. I got the right shoes. I got the right outfits. This is going to be my year, and I show up and I'm still Jennifer. Still making my silly jokes. Still wearing inappropriately warm clothing on the first day of school, so I'm going to take this off. Because it gets the point. But that's my idea of community. Like my first real feeling of community was school, was high school. And we don't realize that, right? I don't think. Like, so this me to we, this back and forth, this a paradox of, in the reading, she's talking about we are inherently one with everything. That is what we teach here, that we are one with everything, everything. Not just people, everything, trees, everything, oneness. There's nothing but infinite intelligence, an infinite source, an infinite all-knowingness, an infinite thing that is beyond this physical realm. That's the truth with a capital T. And what happens, I think, is that when we're forming babies and we're in our moms, we don't know a me or we or anything. We just know that all my needs are met instantaneously and it's comfy to a point, and not for mom sometimes, but it's comfy, you're in there. And then all of a sudden you have this we-ness. I'm going to say we-ness a lot today. I apologize to anybody that has the sense of humor of a 13-year-old. I'm sorry. That's me. That's in my head. So, but you have this we-ness. You are experiencing a we-ness when you were in the womb that you don't even know, because you don't know anything else. You don't know. You only know this we-ness. And then you're birthed. Just like that, you come out fully. No, you come out, and then all of a sudden, you instantly are bombarded with meanness. You're instantly bombarded with separation. You're instantly bombarded with cold and bright lights and noises that sound weird because they're not muffled, and you're bombarded with all of that instantly. And then you go back to we-ness, right? Because you go back to your mom. And someone will take you and they swaddle you and they put you on your mom's chest, and you hear that familiar sound, that familiar heartbeat, and you're like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be, right? That is that compulsion, that back to oneness that the reading was talking about. That the reason that we're communal, we're social animals, is because of the truth of everything that is, and we have this. In this form, we have this understanding of this oneness. And so we're constantly fluxing back and forth between me and we. Constantly going back and forth between feeling separate, feeling alone, feeling as, these human forms, and understanding and knowing that the truth of everything is oneness with everything and everyone and this whole universe, this whole beautiful universe. So what do you do when the reality of it doesn't seem to match the feeling of it? So I go back to high school. I remember when we would start high school, every first day, they would, we'd have a pep rally. I don't know if anybody else have pep rallies in their high schools? I think the high schools here are a bit large, so their pep rallies are a little different. But with under 400 students, they stuff us all in the gym. And first day of school, and you get in the gym, and the principal hopefully gives this great talk about how at this school you are. I went to Silver Valley High School. We were the Trojans. So at this school, you are a Trojan. And what does it mean to be a Trojan? It means that, that all of the great things about being a Trojan at the high school. And it means that this is your community and this is your campus. Keep it clean. These are your people. Be nice, and they would rousing, and then the cheerleaders would do their thing, and then the band maybe would play, and the football team would get introduced, and then we would sing this song. I'm not going to sing it, but it started out, Hail Silver Valley, and it was like, and we would all do it together, and luckily it was written on the wall, so if you forgot it, you could just look up there, and you're like, yeah, and I'm a joiner, right, and I'm loyal, and I'm like, yeah, school spirit, woo, all of that stuff, and I had some friends who were kind of like, do we have to go? I was like, yeah, we gotta go. This is part of being in high school, right? We gotta go. It's so much fun. And then I realize now, I look back and I think about it though, and you think about how schools are structured, the structure of a high school. My school was a nice, gentle high school. The 92 on my jacket is not my sports number. One of my sons was like, "What sport did you play that had a 92? What are you, a lineman? What is that?" No. That's the year I graduated. And I went to high school expecting, those John Hughes films, anybody watch those 80s films where the high schools are like, I don't know, like a lighter version of that Oz show, where the nerds are getting shoved into trash cans and it's just mayhem. And my school wasn't that, thank goodness. But you look at the structure of a high school, and even in the pep rally, when you're filed in, you got freshmen, you got sophomores, you got juniors, you got seniors, you got the football team, you got the cheerleaders, and everybody is in their place. Everything is boom, 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 boom. So we're all one, but you sit there. You don't sit up there, you sit over there, because that's your place, right? So we have that structure. And you have the structure of, it's all great in high school spirit and everything, and we're gonna beat that other team, right? And here in Ventura, they have that crosstown rivalry, right? You got Buena and you got Ventura. And you got that crosstown, and it's fun. It's kind of the fun idea. But it was always interesting to me when my kids played sports, especially my oldest one. They played lacrosse in Santa Barbara, and they played all the AYSO sports and all of the VYBA. So when they would play each other at school events, it would be like, that's my friend over there on the other team. And kids that maybe didn't have that experience would be like, you can't talk to them. You can't talk to them. They're the other team. So Buddha's my friend. No, not today, right? Not today, because we have this us, them. And it sets up in high school, us, them. It's the structure of our communities. If you weren't raised in the United States, I will apologize. This is definitely a United States-centric talk, because that's what I know. But that's what we're structured as. We're structured in an us, them structure. So, I don't want to make that structure completely wrong. I want to kind of stress that even in the reading with the heartbeats, right, the heart cells, if you take 2 heart cells from different people and you put them in a petri dish, they will beat in unison. And then if you add a 3rd heart cell from another person, they make a new unison and they beat in unison. And that's beautiful. That's the whole point of the talk, is like, they don't have to be from the same person and they beat together. So my scientific and contrary brain goes, yeah, but what happens if you add a colon cell in there? Colon cells don't beat. Or at least mine don't normally. Anyway, but what happens if you add a lung cell? What if they have to be like to communicate with each other, we think, and that in that example. And yet, if we had a body that was just all heart cells, that would be boring, right? It wouldn't do much. I wouldn't be able to walk around if I was just a heart. I need all of the different parts to make this body. And every one of us needs all those different parts to make our bodies. So it makes sense that we tend to make communities and clump together. And it makes sense, in this real realm, this physical realm, that we might find ourselves gravitating towards like beating cells. But it doesn't serve us to stay that way. It doesn't allow us to grow. It doesn't allow us to evolve. It doesn't allow us to function on this planet in a way that is spiritually informed. So this talk and this book is, how do we honor the safety of being with like-minded community, and how do we honor the expansion of listening and being with people who maybe are different, think different, look different, sound different, have a completely different upbringing, or how do we move from there to there? And, spoiler, it's oneness. Remembering oneness. What am I going to say every Sunday? It's oneness, people. So So another illustration of this, just because it's come up this year. I don't even know if I want to talk about this. It makes me sweaty. So 10 years ago in Ferguson, Missouri, I'm going to look in my notes to make sure, a young man named Michael Brown was shot and killed by Officer Darren Wilson. And it sparked a national conversation, and it sparked a national recognition of a group called Black Lives Matter. And I mean, if you need to Google it, Google it. But it sparked this upheaval, protests and riots, and lots of talking heads saying what was wrong with everybody. And so at the time, I was picking up my son, who was on the cusp of his 12th birthday from middle school, and it was that year we actually had a lot of alone time. He's my middle son, but that year we had a lot of alone time in the car because of carpooling snafus or whatever. So it was just me and him. He didn't have his brothers around. So one day he asks me, "What do you think about BLM?" And I have to admit, I was chicken. And I'm going to just say this to all you parents out here. When a child asks you a question, clarify, clarify, clarify. It'll keep you from having very awkward conversations about things your kids don't want to know. Just be warned. But in this instance, he's like, "What do you think about BLM?" And I was really hoping he meant Bureau of Land Management. I really was. Because I have really strong opinions on Bureau of Land Management and the government owning 90% of whatever. And I have a lot, and I have facts. I have websites that I could have directed him to explain why I had these opinions. But bless his heart, nope, that's not what he wanted to know about. He did not want to know about BLM. He wanted to know about Black Lives Matter. And at the time, I didn't know what I thought about it. At the time, I was just really sick of my Facebook feed being Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, Green Lives Matter, Red Lives Matter. It felt to me, because I'm a literal person. Like anybody that knows me, I'm nerdy, I'm literal, and I'm like, well, of course they matter, because of my experience. Right? Of course they matter. Why would they use that as their slogan? And so I did the other chicken thing that you can do as a parent. Well, what do you think about it? like there, I'm going to save myself. I'm not going to just wade into this. What do you think about it? And he's like, well, I understand that they have a problem, because when they go out, sometimes police just shoot them for no reason, or maybe the police do have a reason, but they shoot them and it doesn't seem like a good reason, and so they have a problem. I'm like, oh. I hear something in that statement that I know is wrong. Woohoo! Like, I know I can work with this. And it's like, well, I think the first issue with that belief or that thought about Black Lives Matter is the word they. They don't have a problem. We have a problem. We have a problem in this country. We have a problem. And bless his little heart, right? He looks out the window of our very posh minivan, by the way, very, very swanky minivan. And we're driving down the avenue here in Ventura, and he looks around at this sunny day and our beautiful hometown, and he's like, where's this we stuff? Like, I don't see the problem. There's no we, like, what? And it opened the conversation of what it means to be an American, what it means to be a citizen of this country, and what it means to be a citizen of the planet, and what it means to be a human being in this moment. And so I kind of, it's like, awesome, we're having this conversation, it's one-on-one, it's just me and him, his brothers aren't chiming in, we can have this really deep conversation, which he doesn't remember, by the way. I asked him, he was like, oh, but I remembered it. And what I realized, though, in remembering it, was that even while I was saying, we have a problem, Houston, we have a problem, we have a problem, I was siding with one side over the other. I was still taking sides. We have a problem, and they are the problem. So even in my subtle emotional, I didn't say it that way, but I know in my heart and my brain, it was, we have a problem. They are the problem. And that's not oneness either. It's a step closer. We're like little baby steps, but it's not oneness either. So Mark Nepo says in his book, all things are connected. The art of community is discovering how. Like, oh, okay. He's a poet though, so he doesn't like really, like I like bullet points, right? Like boom, boom, boom. So this is the closest he gets to a bullet point. So he says, from Confucius, to put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. To put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. To put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life. We must first set our hearts right. That sounds perfect. Oh, there, fix, right? And then the reality of that statement, the reality of Confucianism in China is for 1,000 years or more, they've used it to control the population. Because he goes on to explain that Confucius holds a society structure that daily rituals, but it puts emphasis on the value of parents and the value of whoever is in charge, political or dynastic people who are in charge. And so in order to get your heart in order, it's basically to do what is the authorities are telling you to do. Like, that's not what he says, but that's the reality. That's how it's interpreted in reality. So then he goes on to talk about Gandhi. And so Gandhi with British rule, and so Gandhi says, we cease to play the part of the ruled. You may, if you like, cut us to pieces. You may shatter us at the cannon's mouth. If you act contrary to our will, we shall not help you. And without our help, we know that you cannot move one step forward. Now, I like the, I'm not going to help you. I don't really like that idea of being shattered at the cannon's mouth. So it's like, oh. And then his final one is from Martin Luther King Jr. And he says, I believe what the self-centered have torn down, the other-centered will build up. I like to play with that a little bit because I would like to think that, well, what the self-centered have built up, the other-centered will dissolve into nothingness. If I could be so bold as to paraphrase MLK Jr. But all of those things, what happens in the reality of it? And the reality of it is that humans take beautiful ideas and then we put ourselves in freshmen, sophomore, juniors, seniors. We put ourselves in the cliques. We put ourselves on the, I'm a jock and you're a nerd and I'm a cheerleader and you're this. We do that to ourselves. What does Gandhi say here? We are acting contrary to our own will. Because our truth is oneness. Our truth is divine oneness. And then we act contrary to that when we play in this system, the structure of the country. Everybody's getting really, really quiet. Okay, so here we teach there is no other. Here we teach we are all one. Here we teach that any suffering at all is suffering for all. So anyone that is suffering means that we all suffer because we're all connected. There is no you, there is no me, there's no we, there is oneness. Any suffering is a suffering for all. What happens in the United States is we have a system of winners, losers, haves and have-nots. Oh, my favorite myth of the United States is our class. We don't have class here, which we do, right? Oh, wait, okay, so we do have class, but our class is based on how much money you make, right? Our classes are you upper class, you're middle class, you're poor, what? It's all based on money. And the big myth, the myth that I really wanted to buy and I still want to believe in is that those classes are mobile. It doesn't matter who you're born to or where you come from, you can move to the class that you want to be in. It's the Confucius thing. It's the Confucius thing again, right? It's the myth of the United States that you can do these things, and if you're not doing those things, it's on you. It's your fault. And it's not necessarily true, because we have a structure of this community that we learn in high school, the structure of conformity. I don't know about all of you, when I came to this center and I first heard that, there was nothing but God. God is all there is. And I am one with God, and I am a perfect divine being having this perfect experience right now. I took a breath. I didn't even realize I'd been holding it. Like when you hear a beautiful song and you get the chills, I breathed for the first time in my life. Like I was birthed anew. Oh my gosh, oneness. It's all there is. It makes so much sense. Another experience I had with that is when I heard Tracy Brown. She's a practitioner out of Dallas. She's written several books. She was one of my teachers in ministerial school. And she says, the key to remember, especially in the United States, is oneness does not mean sameness. What? I breathed again. Didn't realize I was holding my breath, but oneness does not mean sameness. And yet we expect conformity. We expect that at school, you're going to go to school and you're going to sit and you're going to learn and you're going to do these things. And I was the best conformist ever. I was so good. And then now I'm up here saying, don't conform. Don't listen to me, boys. Don't. My kids are up there. Like, no, except for you. You guys, no. But that's what we're doing. We have this structure of conformity. We have this beautiful myth, e pluribus unum, from many one. Oh, yeah, because USA, right? It's the best. But then we're given the metaphor of a melting pot, right? So you're from many one in this big melting pot. That doesn't serve you. Conform. Look a certain way, strive a certain way, work a certain way, listen to people who don't have your best interest at heart. Conform. And if you don't conform, there are consequences. So the structure of conformity the system of conformity is held by fear. Right? We are taught to fear. We are told high school is a safe place for you as long as you follow the rules. My heartthrob crush when I was in middle school and high school, did not conform. He was definitely the bad boy, I don't know. I got all excited about this high school crush and I lost my microphone. He single-handedly kept me off of methamphetamine. So, we got to give that to him because he was telling me how awful they were. And it was like, oh, I'll never do that. But anyway, he didn't conform and he was miserable and he was punished. I mean, and what a missing out that the school community was missing out on this great kid. He was amazing. Nobody got to know it because he was expelled all the time. He was suspended all the time. He would still go to school. He'd ride the bus, and then they would tell him he wasn't supposed to be there, and then he would go smoke, because he didn't want to be at home either. But, it's this conforming. It's this fear. It's this, if you don't do this, then there are these consequences. So, I promise I'm going to end on a happier. So what do we do with that? Right? What do we do with that? I'm telling you, you're unhappy and it's your fault because you're conforming and because you believe in the system and the system is broken. And there's a part of me that's like, yep, I want to just go out and be a hermit. I was going to go live in a cave somewhere. The talk where she was, or the reading where she's like, unless you're an extreme introvert. And I'm like, I didn't know it was a sport. Like, I can be extreme. You want to play introvert extreme way? No. But, we can't, because that's not the truth of who we are, and that doesn't evolve us, right? That doesn't evolve us. That doesn't help us spiritually become what we're here to be. So what are we going to do to move to oneness, to move to the truth of e pluribus unum? What are we going to do to embrace from many one? How do we embrace that idea? And the high idea of it, but not the melting pot. I mean, when we were in college, we used to tease that maybe it's more like a tossed salad. We were a tossed salad, so everybody gets to keep their parts, or maybe a good stew. And I'm like, we're college kids, we're probably really hungry. It was like, well, we're just a smorgasbord. And it's like, how about if we're not even food? How about if we're like a forest and an ocean and mountains and desert, and what if we're just people? What if we're just us? And we're allowed to be us, who we authentically are. I get to show up, in my boots one day, and I can show up in my flip-flops another day, and I can show up barefoot. What if that's okay? It sounds good to me. So how are we going to move into oneness? I think the key to remember is that if we are in a system based on fear, we've got to change our base system. And our base system needs to shift from fear to kindness. Right? Fear to kindness. And then my other favorite things in the triangle, the fear triangle, we've got fear, you've got judgment, and you've got anger. I live in the anger. But anger is really just fear's like mean, protective older sister, right? And judgment is the other protective older sister of fear, right? You got to protect this fear. And how are we going to protect it? We're going to protect it with our judgment, and we're going to protect it with our anger. And it's very active, right? Anger feels like you're doing something. To me, when I get all fired up, I feel like I'm doing something. I'm going to accomplish something. So that's not serving me. It's not serving the planet. It's not serving our system. So how do we shift into oneness? And that is to change our fear-based system into kindness. And when you shift your fear-based system into kindness, so I'm going to go to a kindness-based system, and then judgment becomes forgiveness, right? Judgment becomes, let's look at what we're afraid of, and let's forgive who caused the fear. And 9 times out of 10, it's me causing my own fear, my own anxiety. So how do I forgive myself? How am I kind to myself? And if I really feel like I need to be in action, then you replace anger with service. How do I serve? So who served in Pride yesterday? Volunteers, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is so important. Pride is so important. In my little tiny high school, I know 2 boys that were so stuck in the conformity of being masculine, football player, manly men, scoring with the girls, blah, 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 blah. 2 boys that didn't make it to 30 because that was not the truth of who they were, and they did not feel safe in my super safe, my super kind, my super soft high school to be who they were. They saw how the other boys, it looked like oil and water with the one boy who was one of my besties, he's very out. He couldn't be anything but what he was. But those 2 boys couldn't, and they killed themselves. All of those really pretty girls in high school that I couldn't understand it. They were my friends, and we would eat together. We would go out to pizza, and they would eat a whole pizza. And I wouldn't eat a whole pizza. Sometimes I eat a whole pizza, but I didn't always eat a whole pizza. And they were this big. They were little skinny girls, right? And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess it's because they run around a lot. I don't know. What's happening? And my mom was just praying at home, to the Virgin Mary, like, please don't let her find out that those girls are what they're doing to stay skinny. I didn't know. I was completely naive. I thought that, that they, poor things, sometimes they have tummy problems, and And if they eat a whole pizza, they throw up. I have never eaten so much that I throw up. Those girls had eating disorders. And those eating disorders, lead into all sorts of health problems later because they were conforming. But they were the winners in high school, right? Those were the winners. When we have these systems of winning and losing and this, and you win at the expense of this kid, the winners are being hurt just as much as the losers. So we have to break that down. So back to the oneness and back to the kindness. I know in high school, it would be hard to be kind to somebody who's shoving your head in a garbage can. Maybe not in that real moment. Maybe that's not the time to do it. But now, look back and see and know that they were hurting. It's hard right now to see people who are on the other side, and it's easy to see them as the problem. But right now, it's important to see them as human beings that are doing the best they can, just like you're a human being doing the best you can. We move into oneness when we don't personally attack other people. And we move into kindness when we don't personally attack, and we don't attack ourselves for being whatever. So, boy, that went way, I was a little peppier at home. I was going to end on a really woo. Woo. Okay, just so real quick, because I almost forgot. So we're going to move into kindness. I'm sure Reverend Bonnie's going to talk about it. She talks about kindness a lot. We have in the bookstore these books. They're from Service Space. We have different ones. They're 21-day journals. This one is kindness, and this is like a little scavenger hunt of kindness. It gives you these kindness activities to do, and it's a fun way. And if you've got kids or family, it's fun. Like let's do this together. It's very outer facing. To me, this feels like service. But if you really want to go deep with kindness, be kind to yourself. So for the next 21 days, I'm going to ask everybody, including myself, when you're unkind to yourself, when you're unkind about something you say, or when you're unkind to something, if you hear yourself degrading yourself to somebody, or if you hear yourself in the morning like, oh, to yourself, recognize where that happens. Recognize it. Let it come up. Understand where it's coming from. Forgive yourself. And promise yourself to do better. Because that's what we really need to do. And that's what we really need to understand. And when we can be kind to ourselves and we don't other our own emotions, we can be kind to other people and we can not other them. So normally we would close with an affirmation, but you guys have been really quiet. And so what we're going to do instead is we're going to do a cheer. If you look on my thing here, back to the high school thing, right here. See, I'm a trained cheerleader. I got the patch right here to prove it. I know it's hard to believe. It was a really tiny high school, y'all, and they needed a base. I'm just saying. So, anybody needs to know what that means, I will explain it after service. But because I was this tall in high school. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a call and response. Kenny's going to cut my mic. So everybody at home, you just kind of have to play along because I'm going to do the old high school cheer. So everybody get ready. Take a breath. Give me a K. Give me an I. Give me an N. Give me a D. Give me an N. Give me an E. I'm like, they're not yelling up there. Give me an S. All right, and one more. Give me an S. What's that spell? What are we? That's right. Now let's get out there and let's do it. So closing that out with a prayer. Normally when I start a prayer, I'm like, let everything settle down. But no, don't. Keep it up, people. Keep it up. Keep that energy up. Knowing from up here, from that enlivened place, I know that there is nothing but God right now in this moment. I know that every single person here is a perfect emanation of God right now. I know that right now I speak this word as that oneness. I speak this word from that oneness. I speak this word from that infinite love, that infinite source, that infinite intelligence that is having its way with us right now. Whew. And knowing that, I know that we are all unified in this oneness. We are all unified in this infiniteness. We are all perfect, beautiful expressions. We are all this blessed experience right now. And normally we would say that we know that's the truth for anybody, anywhere that they're worshiping, even for the atheists that aren't worshiping. But I know that truth for trees. I know that truth for sand. I know that truth for the stage and the piano. I know that truth for the whole universe. That the universe is nothing but oneness. Oneness. And from that place, from that infinite source of no limits, that infinite source of no confinement, that infinite source of no fear, no lack, I know that this life is a blessing. It is so easy from that place to be grateful for this truth. It is so easy from this place of love and oneness and kindness to be grateful for everyone that said yes to Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. And it's so easy to be grateful for God in this moment. And I release my word into the universal law, and together we say, and so it is.
Through the storm, keep your chin up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
So now we're here to find out what are some exciting happenings here at our center. The first one to remind you is that we have a table out in the hospitality hall for our fundraiser, which is a karaoke. And if you did not get to our last karaoke, it was fabulous. And I am not a karaoke person, don't particularly like it, but I loved it. So come help if you can, volunteer, donate, be a part of our fundraiser. Number two is after the service, I mentioned the hospitality. We have goodies for you, coffee. There's a concierge desk to help you understand or answer any questions about anything you have about our center or any of the classes. Now, classes, that's where you really expand your experience of being a part of this community and expand your experience of just being a better human being out in our world. The first one is Artist Way, and I'm going to give you a plug that is very, very heartfelt. One of the first classes I took when I came here to this center a few years ago, we've been here about 10 years, was the Artist Way, and it was a life-changing experience. It is a fabulous way to go into your own life and see your own creative side, not to go paint a picture, but who are you as a creative soul self? So the Artist Way is coming up, and that starts on September the 5th, and you can sign up here or you can sign up online. And then the next one is about a little magic. This is the book. It's called The Magic of the Soul. Now you can see it's a bit dog-eared and got lots of places that I wrote notes to myself about it. Now I love this class so much I took it twice. Or maybe I'm a slow learner, I don't know. But each time it expanded my experience of the soul's magic. I'm going to read you one very special quote. The magic of the soul is a practice. That means you learn stuff that you can do at home safely to help open the door and offer guidance along the path of this world's magical opportunity. So if you didn't know that there was magical opportunity that does not include a Disney World tour, please come to the class. And Patrick, who is the author of the book, raise your hand, he'll be in the social hall. He's agreed to come and facilitate one of the classes. I'm super excited about that because I took the class from him once and it is fabulous. He is a fabulous facilitator. So come look into taking and expanding the magic of your life through the magic of your soul in this book and this class. And that class starts, where do I start? September the 5th, 6-week class, and it's going to be here at the center. It's a really important class really to be alive or be live. Yeah, you need to be alive and to be in the class.
In person.
Mine starts September the 10th. Sorry, I looked at the wrong date. So it's priceless pricing. Come and experience the magic of the soul through the course called The Journey of the Soul. We can have a prayer at the practitioners, which is magic within itself, a 1-minute miracle down here up front. If anything's troubling you or you just want to kind of clarify something that you're noodling on, come and talk to them. To those at home and that are watching, be sure to share us on Facebook. For all of you who are here, just be welcome to come to our hospitality. And the people who have a stole, if you'll raise your hand, those are people who have answers to your questions. Right.
Closing
Cool.
Closing up. You want me to do it? I'll do it. Thank you, Linda. I was going to have Linda do the closing affirmation, but I'll do it. So let's see if we're going to get that coming up. We're a little over time here, so we're going to close out with an affirmation that I like to read together from the slide. There, nope. There we go. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, tech team. So here we go. Today we choose to be love, to share love, to serve love. Thank you for our lives. And so it is. So it is. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Namaste. I'm like, it's too long. It feels like